Okay. Hey guys, can you hear me now? Are you able to hear me? Am I getting sound? Oh, thank God. I don't get it. I don't understand. There's an issue with this microphone. There we go. We finally got it. We got um okay. Hello everybody. Thankfully we have sound, which I don't understand why. Um I don't understand why it does not work. But anyways, here we go. I'm glad you guys found back onto our channel. I'm so sorry. So let's remove this. First and foremost, I trust everybody's doing well. At least I hope everybody's doing well. Right? I would love to switch to Zoom, Karen. I would. I think I'm just trying to find that one platform. The issues with Zoom is we are working on a Zoom meeting to have, but the issues are, it's a lot. We're not going to be able to clear an hour because I know everybody's going to have a million and one questions. And sometimes even just talking like this, it's easier and it's more comfortable for people to text and just to send that message out. But hello, Karen, Amanda, Shelly, Michelle, Adrian, Zen, my dear, how are you, honey? Madeline, Jose's here. Alicia, hello, dear. Make a Blue, Disney Adventure. Hey, it's Caitlin. Hello, Caitlin. How are you, hun? So, without further ado, would coffee make anxiety worse? Michelle, of course it will. The reason why, and I'll tell you why these things attribute to the anxiety. When you have anxiety is built upon association. And it's very, 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 very important to understand that is why I chose my discipline in cognitive behavioral therapy, because it is cognitive, and it was a tough pill for a lot of people to swallow, that certain foods will influence your anxiety. Now, very simply explained is this: when you have anxiety, the body's response is protection. When we have anxiety, because the fight or flight response and the way it is structured is to defend you and to help you in front of an immediate danger or threat right in front of you. Okay. Now, when we say a threat, we're not talking about getting pulled over by the police or somebody saying, something ill towards you. We're talking, harm or death. So what happens is as the physical responses of anxiety are present, it will associate everything involved. Meaning, when you have anxiety, you are releasing adrenaline. Coffee, the caffeine also does the same. So now you're associating it. So when you have coffee, you get this rush of adrenaline, and instant, it's a trigger for anxiety, and we don't realize that. And this is where I say, guys, anxiety it's very complex the way it works, because you are associating so many things with these triggers. Remember how the mind works. Okay, more importantly, the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is our computer system. Okay, that's exactly what the subconscious mind is. It is our computer system. It is 97% of who we are. It's the makeup of who we are. It creates our personality. This is who we are as people. And every time you, first and foremost, the subconscious mind works on all your senses, your touch, your smell, your the sound, taste, everything. All of your senses is what the subconscious mind works with. And what it does is it attaches memories, emotions to what it is, that you're either seeing, you're hearing, you're feeling, you're tasting, you're smelling. It associates an emotion with all of that. When anxiety is present, you're on guard. Your sympathetic nervous system is highly activated and highly alert. So now what happens is, as you're looking around during the midst of an anxiety attack, sorry to tell you this, guys, but you're associating everything with anxiety. So it's important to note that yes, a lot of these do induce anxiety. Foods, a lot of beverages, they play a huge role in anxiety. Now, it's not to say and understand that I'm not saying we need to remove all these substances from our diets. We don't need to do that. But once you are able to understand anxiety, and once you're able to get the anxiety under control, you can then reintroduce coffee or all these other um, beautiful things that we enjoy the most. Coming from somebody who suffered from emetophobia like myself, for those of you that don't know, emetophobia is the fear of vomiting. Now, of course, obviously nobody likes to vomit. Absolutely. But when it is a fear that controls your entire existence, it becomes a huge factor in your life. You know, I never, and I'm going to try and say this without tearing up because it does still hit me hard. My entire life, I don't remember a time that I enjoyed Christmas, and it's upsetting, right? Christmas is a time for love and joy and family and people to get together, and it's supposed to be a time of complete vulnerability. I was never able to enjoy it, mainly because when you associate the stomach bug with winter, you associate that with Christmas. So you're always on guard. And now we're getting together with people, and there's chances that I might get a stomach bug. Imagine having kids. You don't really realize it until you have those kids, where it's inevitable that every child is going to have some sort of stomach bug in their life. For me, it destroyed my entire life. It destroyed my relationship with my kids, with my family, and more importantly, it destroyed my relationship with myself. And this was all built on the fact of association. I was associating nausea with anxiety. So if I were to eat something, and something simple as a sound of my digestive system, or maybe a little stomach upset, or maybe even gas, who knows what it was? Any normal person wouldn't even pay attention to that. It's very normal. A normal person wouldn't pay attention to these normal noises or feelings that we are having in our digestive system. For me, I wouldn't sleep for 3 days. It really affected me in every single way. I can show you pictures when I was younger of how bad I looked. Dropping down in weight, not looking healthy at all. And unbeknownst to me, I didn't realize that every time I was having anxiety, I was creating more triggers for myself. And this is where that fluctuation with anxiety comes in, right? That wave of anxiety. Sometimes we will go 3, 4, 5 days straight with anxiety. These are mainly focused on the foods that we're eating and them actually coming out of our systems, because we don't associate the two. I have a journal, and I will pull these all up and I'll show you. I started studying this at the age of 5. And I know a lot of the stuff is written in crayon, just my emotions and my feelings. But I remember at 13, journaling to the doctors, and I did almost like an elimination diet, but I was journaling to the doctors of how these certain foods were causing anxiety, and nobody listened to me. So I kind of just put it on the back burner, and I was like, okay, well, if these doctors are saying it's not the foods I'm eating, then what is it? Because even at that age, I was trying to understand the digestive system. I did a lot of studies on the blood types and different blood types, of how the digestive system works. And I was able to understand that we don't associate the foods we're eating or things we're drinking with anxiety, because it's not like right after we've eaten. So we'll have dinner, say at 5, 6 o'clock, but why am I having anxiety at 11 o'clock at night? It's because it's by the time it gets into your digestive system, it's when it gets into your intestines and it starts breaking down the foods, is when you're starting to have these issues. Or sometimes more fluids, coffees, pops, that might happen almost right away, because obviously, fluid gets absorbed a lot quicker. So it's detrimental, because a lot of times, we go from this situational anxiety to full-blown GAD, which is the generalized anxiety disorder, because we are constantly associating with our triggers. Once again, it goes back to that food court analogy, right? You have that anxiety attack and you run out. You don't realize that everything around you, everything around you is associating that trigger, that effect, that anxiety. And your life just, it becomes a downward spiral. So obviously, TMI, Anthony. So yes, I mean, this is the reality of what it is. Alejandro, hello, my friend. How are you? Michelle, makes sense. Absolutely. Where are we? Good evening, Anthony. Mandy, hello, my dear. Mandy, prime example. Look at Mandy. Mandy, we had one session, and just the way she was describing stuff and the way we were putting two and two together with Mandy, we realized that, all her anxiety was coming from the food she was eating. So it was a little tough for her. And of course, she's still got a long way to go. And there's still a lot more to do with Mandy. But the reality is that she's on, I think, day 8 or day 9 right now of no anxiety. And this is going from 2 years of constant anxiety. So now with Mandy, what we did was we eliminated these foods, and we kind of, I don't want to say put her on a diet, but it was like process of elimination first. It's troubleshooting. So my energy, the way I was speaking to her, picked up that this was mainly focused on her foods that she was eating. So now that we've removed that and we figured out that she is doing so much better now, eliminating these things, we can better understand her anxiety, and build her strength up. So now when she does reintroduce these foods that she's been eating, she'll understand it more. And the anxiety might still be present, but of course, because it's new, it's complicated to try and make that make sense. Although the anxiety might come back and be present, it's one of those things where it just clicks and it's like, yeah, I got this. I know where this is coming from. And now you've reversed the effect. You went from having a little bit of a digestive issue or noises or sounds or an adrenaline rush from the foods that you're eating and triggering this anxiety to, this is just, if you drink coffee, you're getting energy. That's what we drink coffee for, right? Because like I said, anxiety, especially with the fight or flight response, anxiety, excitement, nervousness, a lot of these are on the same path, or on the same neurotransmitter and chemical effects of anxiety. It's all the same. So it's very hard to distinguish the difference between I'm excited, I'm nervous, I'm having anxiety. So it's very, very difficult. But it's like we'll drink coffee to wake up. Naturally, we want that adrenaline. But because that unspoken entity of anxiety resides there, it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. That's what it's supposed to be doing. It's supposed to be protecting us. Hello, D. Hello, how are you? Hi, Sherry. Mandy, day 9 without MSG foods, it's tough. But if I don't want to face my anxiety, so I keep going forward with the proper foods. Mind you, I went to a birthday meal, ate junk, and wow, I had to go leave. There you go. You see what I'm saying? So now this is the thing, but this is the amazing thing, okay? So Mandy, for example, she's been doing amazing. Day 9 with no anxiety. So it was a simple thing like MSG. Monosodium glutamate is huge factor in influencing this. Also, yeast extract is another big one. Spicy food, greasy foods. A lot of these foods will cause that. Now, this is the thing. With Mandy, for example, she went to a birthday party now and she ate junk, which triggered her anxiety and she had to leave. So it's too soon now to start introducing these foods until we get a grip on that. But the reality is we've removed these foods and now she's been anxiety free while she's been having anxiety every day of her life. So she's on the right track. And keep in mind, guys, I've only had one session with Mandy so far. So it's really soon. It's really soon. But I mean, sometimes that's all it takes. Sometimes that's all it takes is that one aha moment to have. And we've come to a better place with our anxiety. Mandy, and I'm slowly replacing my coffee with an apple yogurt and lemon water. I think that's great. You don't necessarily need to do that right now. You can have the coffee. I mean, if you want to make those better diet choices for yourself, by all means, go ahead. I had to remove everything from my diet, and don't kid yourself. Now I've come to a point where, yeah, I eat McDonald's, guys. I'm not, listen, this isn't, I'm not here doing a workout regime, or I'm not here to help people with a diet. I am the last person, if you want nutritional guidance, to come to, because I'll say probably the opposite of what you should be doing. But when it comes to anxiety and it comes to blood types, I do help people work on that diet, because for me, I know what works and what doesn't work along that lines. And that, like I said, is just temporary. This isn't something that needs to be persistent. My anxiety sometimes make me where I can't drive. Of course, because once again, we associate it. So if you all notice, it'll start with that one little trigger of anxiety. Okay. You have that first anxiety attack. Life continues, and then you might get another attack. Life continues. But what's happening is the attacks are coming far and more frequently, and they're getting worse. And things that you used to like, you don't like anymore. The stuff that you used to enjoy, you've changed, and you feel like you're changing, and you get into those bad moods, and you have that constant irritable feeling, and all these things are happening. you know it's difficult. It is difficult because we're not understanding it, because of how the subconscious mind works, because most of us have not been able to tap into that subconscious mind. But what is happening is you are programming yourself to be fearful of these things that you don't even realize. That's the reality of what anxiety is, and how it goes from simple anxiety, situational anxiety, to full-blown anxiety, daily, the generalized anxiety disorder that we speak about. So it is important, obviously, especially with the steps, because what our program does and what our steps do, it helps you be present, it helps you be aware, and it helps put a lot of what I'm talking about into perspective, hands on, for yourself. Mandy, I found coffee was a big trigger though too. So it's 1 cup or else the lemon water and apple stuff. It's fine. It's fine. It's understanding it. This is the thing. It's reprogramming. You're drinking coffee when the adrenaline would kick in, it's causing anxiety. Okay, it's adrenaline. You're associating the effect of adrenaline with an anxiety attack to the effect of the coffee producing adrenaline with anxiety. So it goes back to the Pavlovian theory, where it's association, it's classic conditioning. It's exactly what is happening here. So now you can reverse that effect by just simply having that coffee. When the anxiety comes, tell yourself, listen, this is adrenaline from the coffee. There's nothing to fear right now. I'm okay. I'm good. The anxiety doesn't need to be present right now. There's nothing around me that's going to hurt me, that's going to kill me. I'm good, right? Unless it's me and you wake up and you make a coffee for yourself and you don't make one for your wife, then you got to worry a little bit. But the reality is most of you don't have to worry about that. So is there any questions so far of anything I'm talking about, or do you want me to go into more detail about things? I would love, Mandy. Yeah, if I don't think about my anxiety like this morning, I'm going to have an extra large from Timmy's today. I'll be okay. I'm okay. I was okay. I'm good. I just typed what you said. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the thing. You talk to yourself. Talk to yourself. There's nothing wrong with that, because you're reprogramming. I think we take a lot of our mind for granted. We take a lot of how our mind works for granted. We don't really understand that our mind is the most advanced tool in the universe. The most advanced tool in the universe. How it works, how it operates is so complex, but it's us. It's who we are. And once again, it's like a computer system. Whatever program you're putting into it is how it's going to react. So at the end of the day, all these things are tools that can be used to help us grow, to help push us forward, and instead of stopping us or causing the fear to stop us from achieving what it is we want to achieve. Because when you think about it in life, our biggest enemy is fear. But we talk about this all the time. What is fear? What is fear? Fear only exists in our own mind. Fear is different for everybody. It's the anticipation of the unknown. That's all fear is. The anticipation of the unknown. You're not scared of a shark. You're scared of what could happen. You're not scared of flying. You're scared of what could happen. We're not scared of these things. We're scared of what the outcome would be because of these things. It was a huge realization for me to have to wake up to one day and say, okay, well, wait a second. I'm not scared of vomiting. I'm scared of what could happen. So it was all about control. And until I was able to stop trying to control everything and really sit in my own self, in my own world, nothing changed. I had to just stop. I had to just stop, or else nothing was changing for me. And it's like we said before, right? Einstein's definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome. It's never going to happen. It's going to be the same outcome. The same thing you're doing is going to be the same outcome. Can anxiety cause more serious stomach issues? Of course it can. We've talked about this all the time. It can, because it's constant stress. And you know this, Karen, almost every one of my clients that comes to see us at the doctor's office has a stomach issue. 100%. 100%. A lot of times when we'll prescribe something as simple as like a pantoprazole, some type of antacid, changing a diet, huge breakthroughs with anxiety. I mean, I can't even explain to you how much we've helped people simply by just diet. What can I do about the anxiety and panic attacks while driving? So, Amanda, it goes back to safety, right? It goes back to understanding that you're safe. I don't want to say, I guess on the surface, anxiety lies to us. Okay. But it's our lies that put it in that position, if that makes sense. You're scared of driving when on the conscious mind, there's absolutely no reason to be scared. It's what the subconscious mind is telling the conscious mind. And it's that battle of the minds. So what you need to do is you need to take it slow. You just need to take it slow. You need to get into your car and know, okay, I'm in control. I'm going to go for a little drive. If I go, I go. If I don't go, I don't go. Who gives a shit? I don't care right now. I'm not concentrating on how far I'm going to make this drive. If I get 10 feet, I get 10 feet. But I'm going to know that I am safe. And no matter what, I am in full control. That is the best advice on the surface to give you, unless we've had a session and we can get deeper into it. The way I usually do things with things like that, especially with sessions, I would either want to be there with you or on a FaceTime call to actually guide you through it, because it's a lot more complex. This, helping people overcome anxiety and depression, this is something that is very hands-on. As much as I know, we do these webinars, I try and give as much tools as I can and support for everyone. The reality is, in order to truly and fully overcome this a lot faster than you normally would be to have those one-on-ones. That way we can get right into it. Karen, I am talking about other issues that can't be solved with pantoprazole. Well, of course it can. I mean, it's stress, right? Stress can cause, I mean, I don't want to say, but I mean, stress can cause a lot of negative responses within our systems. Of course it can. Zen, like anxiety can give us false realities and then come the what ifs with it. That's how far I've gotten breaking mine down. It's amazing. Anxiety gives us anxiety. Well, listen, anxiety allows us to create these false realities. That's what anxiety does. Anxiety, it will always be present. Its job is to protect us, right? The brain's function is for us to survive. That's what the brain does. Okay, it's built for us to survive. So if it needs to put out anxiety, there's a reason why it's doing it. It's because what we've told it. It's how we've seen things. It's our perspective on what it is we're seeing that is causing that. Now what happens is it goes back to that battle of the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, where it's trying to make sense of it. And of course, our protection is making up these false realities. Mandy, I had a bad morning today. I had to go get my groceries. Being in public still freaks me out. Anxiety hit me big time, but I kept talking to myself. Mind you, I made it through it, but it made me exhausted. Of course, it's going to make you exhausted because it's something that's new. You're facing it. You're dealing with it. And the more you do that, Mandy, the easier it's going to get. And it's always the outcome. You go back to that situation. Okay, what happened today? Went to go get groceries. Okay, and I had anxiety. Did it need to be there? No. Was I safe? Of course I was. Was I in full control? Absolutely I was. So there was no reason for the anxiety to be there. And the more you go back to that and the more you continue changing these patterns, the easier it'll get. And then anxiety will be a thing in the past. It will do what it's supposed to do and be present when it's supposed to be present. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with talking to yourself. I highly recommend it. If you're in that situation, even if you want to take a little break and walk to the side and get out of the public eye, or whoever it is you're with, just, you excuse yourself, you go for a little walk and you deal with it. And you keep reminding yourself, because you are the one who put those thoughts there. You're the one that has caused this, believe it or not. Even if something bad, like a traumatic event, has occurred, the reality is it's still you. It's still your perspective. It's how you felt about it. It's your choice that you made in that situation that caused this to all be how it is. So that's the reality of it. But yes, I don't even know how we got onto that whole. Sorry, guys. It is a little different when I'm sitting here talking about it. Share right now. I have a lot of stress on my body and a lot of panic attacks. I don't know what stress you have on your body. If it's the panic attacks, yes, panic attacks will cause stress on your body. Of course they will. There's a lot going on in your system. And it definitely has a lot of stress on the system. I used to talk to myself while driving, but I've passed out because how bad my anxiety was. Okay, so Amanda, you're passing out because your brain is going in overload. It's just trying to protect you. So when you're able to talk to yourself, and a lot of times it's asking the right questions. It's the language that you're using. So if you're talking to yourself, maybe the things that you're saying need to change. Maybe how you're doing it needs to change. I wouldn't be able to answer that unless I spoke to you. Mandy, that's what I can figure out, is why do I get so scared in public? I usually just grab Kyle and he reminds me I'm okay. So the reason why you get so scared in public is because you're associating the anxiety with, the natural response of our self-esteem being out. And what if I get a panic attack? Feeling that feeling of being alone. If something bad happens to me, am I going to be okay? All these things are associated by obviously the panic, but also depression. This is why, when we're depressed, there's a lot that we think about. We get more concerned for our children. Death is always a factor. And I'm not saying necessarily our death, but a lot of these darker thoughts, these sticky thoughts weigh heavy on our mind. That naturally is caused by depression because, the chemicals that are being released are those of, I don't want to say paranoia, but suspicion, right? Because it's what anxiety does. If anxiety is trying to protect you, it needs to protect you in all aspects and all avenues of your life. So it releases more chemicals and your sympathetic nervous system becomes activated. And what that does is it really tries to make sense of everything. It questions everything. So when the sympathetic nervous system is released, and of course that is questioning everything, it's always, I don't want to say in a negative way, but in order to see positive, you need to see that negative, right? And in order to understand things with anxiety, now I'm talking about anxiety here, or even depression. In order to look at something, when you have that response happening, it wants to point out all things negative. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's, okay, I'm looking at this and, but the cup is half empty and that won't fill me up. And, that's a perfect example. That's what the sympathetic nervous system is going to do. You're going to look at the cup and it's going to be half empty because that's what it's designed to do. It's designed for protection, but I need that cup half full because what if I'm more thirsty? You know, what if I drink all of that and there's not going to be any more left for me? That's what it's designed to do. So naturally, by seeing everything in this negative light, it's going to cause depression, right? And that's how anxiety works. That's the chemical compounds that are associated with it. You're right, makes more sense to me. So yes, so by the constant reminders, you know, it takes 21 days to change a person's mindset, but daily, 21 days of working on something every day changes your mindset. That's why the program is a month long each step, because that's what it's designed to do. It's designed to really infiltrate your mind and kind of reverse the patterns that anxiety has caused. And I do say anxiety very lightly because ultimately it is us, right? We are in full control, and we have more control than we will ever give ourselves credit for, because it is us. It is us. We are in control no matter what. And a lot of times we forget that. I mean, think about it right now with all of you that are watching. How many times do we really forget that? We are in full control. Us. Meaning we can do whatever we want. We can look at anything and change how we see it. Everything in life is about perspective and choice. And that's up to us. You know, we can look at something and we can either think negatively towards it, or we can flip that into a positive. That's up to us. If we choose to constantly live in the negative, what do you think is going to happen? How do you think our minds are going to react to that? We are only going to see everything in the negative. That's the bottom line, because that's what we're choosing to do. And I know a lot of people, oh no, I don't have the choice, and anxiety. Listen, I don't want to hear it. That, to me, it's a bunch of bullshit. And I'm sorry to be rude, but the reality is that's all bullshit. Listen, is it hard? God damn right it is. I'm not saying that. Don't mistake what I'm saying to you. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. But the reality is everything we see and everything we look at, we have that choice. Okay, we're the ones who are feeding it. We cannot blame anxiety for doing exactly what it is supposed to be doing, which is protection. If you look at something that is very bad, and you look at it and you know it's bad, and you're like, okay, I got to be careful because this can cause some serious harm to me or danger to me. You're the one who's programmed that in your mind. So next time you look at it, anxiety is going to be present, right? And I can understand and appreciate how anxiety has this way of overtaking our minds. I can appreciate that because, listen, it happened to me. Of course it happened to me. I was there for 30 years. You know, we all get it. It all happened. It does happen. But it's how we come out of it. It's how we reprogram and retrain ourselves once we are already stuck inside of it. Any more questions, guys? Listen, I think we're doing a great job. If nobody has any questions, that's awesome. I love it. The past few weeks have changed my surroundings. I emailed you about it. It's crazy. It's like a domino effect that had changed everyone's mood and reactions. Yes, of course. Absolutely. It's your energy, right? And it's not only that, it's the way you're seeing everything. If you're living life and you're constantly looking at that negative and you're talking to anybody, that energy you're producing, you already have that wall up without even understanding it. This is why communication is a very big part of our program. So now you're producing this negative energy. How do you think people are going to react to that? But when you're able to be comfortable in yourself and you're able to stay present and stay grounded and stay aware, your energy changes, right? Your voice changes. The way you talk changes. The way you describe a word changes. Everything changes. It's like when I said earlier when we were talking about the why me, right? Why me? 2 words. Why me? Can change your life or break you. If you keep asking the why me? Why me? That'll break you. But if you ask, why me? Why did this happen to me? I need to figure this out. That will make you. So it is huge, then. It is huge. Sherry, I'm not sure you can read your message, Anthony. Sherry, I read every message on here, so I'm not sure if you asked something that I didn't see. Hi, Val. Val, I love your lives, babe. My number one supporter. Thank you, Valerie. You know, it's nice to see my wife here. That's sweet. That's really, really sweet. Um, Hi, Val. So do I. He's amazing. Thank you, Mandy. Zen, the tone, everything changes. Absolutely, Zen. Absolutely, 100%. 100%. I was telling somebody this today. We were talking about trolls on TikTok and bullies and how people are and the anger that we have and that kind of thing. So this is how I explained it. You know, back in the day, I was a very aggressive driver. Okay. And, you know, somebody would cut me off and they'd be in a rush and I would lose my mind. Like it would piss me off. Oh my God. I would be so irate. And my wife's here. She can attest to that. I was an asshole. You know, I was just like, how the hell can you do this? And I'd freak out. And I realized a lot from that because I had to rush to the hospital to say goodbye to my grandfather. I had to rush to the hospital and make it in time to say goodbye to my grandmother. You know, I remember rushing my son to the hospital when he injured himself. I know what it's like to have to be in that rush, and it's not a good feeling, and I don't want to be in that world. So now when somebody would cut me off, my emotion changed about that because I don't want to be that. Not myself. I don't want to be him. I feel sorry for whatever he's having to get to or whatever he's going through. I'm glad that I'm where I am in my life. And that in turn made me happy. That in turn changed my entire energy about things. And it doesn't bother me anymore. You know? No Facebook message. No, Sherry. Listen, I don't check any Facebook messages. I am terribly sorry. I don't even check TikTok messages because I am far too busy. I get way too many messages. The emails I get are usually the ones I do check. And you know, the thing is, if you do want to talk, the easiest thing to do is just go on the website and book a session. That's the easiest thing. You know, I do have a lot of clients that have booked. And the clients that are booking are like, you know, these are the ones that is, and I don't want you guys, please don't take this the wrong way, but that's the priority, right? These are people that actually are coming because we're on that agenda, we're on that calendar, we're doing what we can to get those people where they need to be. So please don't take that the wrong way. But the reality is I just can't, you know, spread across these platforms. We are over 1 million followers. And it's a lot. There's a lot of messages I get there. And I'm terribly sorry. Hello everyone. Hey Valerie, Luke, it's okay that you're late. Don't worry. Hi Valerie. Hello Val. How are you doing? Hello Val. Hello Val. You know, you guys, I can go get a coffee and you guys can deal with my wife if you want. It's simple. Or my wife can maybe make me a coffee and bring it down and say hello to everybody. That'd be even better. But yeah, so yeah, if you guys are trying to message me on any of my platforms, guys, I apologize. I just can't. I really can't. I mean, I'm sure at any given time, I'll show you guys. I open up my phone. You know, let me see here. Where's my TikTok? Let's just see how many messages we got today. 383. You know, I love you guys. I just can't. We all like Val better. D, thank you. Sure, reach out. Val's taught me a lot. You know, Valerie's taught me a lot. I'll tell you one of the biggest things Valerie taught me. You guys want to hear a story? I'll tell you one of the biggest things Valerie's taught me. I remember we were going for dinner one night. KFC. We were going for dinner, and we were coming out of the restaurant. And Keegan was little. Keegan was, I think, maybe 2 or 3. He was just walking. And of course, you know, there's me, there's Valerie, there's Brianna, there's Sebastian, Valentina, and Keegan. We're a big family. So we're coming out of this restaurant, and my wife Valerie went to open the door, and as she went to open the door, Keegan was kind of like stumbling out. Right, it was really, really cute. And this lady and her daughter must have been maybe 13, 14 years old, comes barging in. Very rude, very arrogant. She owned the place and she had the, you know, the right to have a red carpet sprawled out for her. It was just really rude, really rude. I was pissed off. I'm not gonna lie. I was so mad because I look like, like you almost knocked over my kid. My wife's holding this door open for you. You don't even say thank you. I was disgusted. If it had been a man, I don't know what would have happened. So we get out of the restaurant and I was pissed. And Valerie looks at me. She's like, why are you mad? I'm like, Val, like, did you not see that woman? Like, am I blind here? Like, isn't that normal? Like, somebody's opening the door for you. She almost ran over our son and she doesn't even say thank you to you. Like, that pissed me off. Like, at least say thank you. I said, you held the door open for her. And Valerie, Valerie, she's so sweet. She's so cute. She turns over to me and she says, yeah, but I held the door open for her because I wanted to. I didn't hold the door open to expect anything from it. That's something I wanted to do. And it just like that, I was like, wow, it makes a lot of sense. There's always going to be people like that in that world. There's always going to be people like this in this world. But the reality is my wife did it because she wanted to. She was able to do it. Why not? If the person wants to live like that in that world, that's on them. We're not here to teach them. They will learn if they want to. But that's on them. And that blew my mind. That really made me put a lot of things into perspective. And I find a lot of times we put the energy into the wrong things. It's very common that most people do that. Whether we're talking about the hatred that's going on TikTok, in our own lives, with our own friends, with our own family. The reality is a lot of times we put the energy into the wrong thing. I am very secure with who I am as a person. Okay. I am proud of who I am. I stand strong in my shoes. Okay. I stand very strong in my shoes, in my world of who I am. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. Lots. Because that's what worked for me at the time. Okay. Now, this is the thing. There's a couple of people on here that are my moderators on TikTok. When I go live, one thing I tell them is never block any trolls. The reason why is because I feel that negativity can help more people. Because my energy in the past was always trying to defend myself. If somebody brought up my past and who I was or where I was from and the things I've done, and guys, I have a very dark, deep past. Serious next level shit. Okay? Anytime anybody would come on and mention it, I would curl up. Ask Valerie. I would freak and I'd always try and defend myself. Until I was able to understand and fully realize that I am who I am today because of my past. It has taught me. I was able to take ownership, but the difference with just taking ownership and accepting it made a huge difference in my world, because taking ownership is apologizing, understanding, and learning from it, right? Owning it is understanding it has made you who you are and the person that you are today. Mm-hmm. So I was putting my energy into the wrong things by constantly trying to, why would this person do this to me? Why is this person saying this? I need to defend myself. I stopped. So now somebody comes on and says, hey, I know you. And weren't you this person from before? Like, yeah. How does that affect your life? Mm-hmm. Because it doesn't affect mine. In fact, it's made me a better person. But I'm just curious to know how you talking about me or things I've done in my past, how does that affect your life? Not only that, how are the things I've done affect your life? Because I've had total redemption for everything I've done, 100%. So how does that affect you? And you flip the energy, you flip the switch easily. I've said this so many times to so many people. Anybody can go on TikTok and make a positive video. Every single one of you can. Every single one of you right now can get off this computer, go on TikTok, and make a positive video. That doesn't mean shit. The importance is when the trolls come to play. When you get those negative comments, that is powerful. How you handle that and your reaction to that makes the difference in the world. That's what takes a person into a true, pure influencer. I hope you guys understand the difference of what I'm trying to say. Hi, Valerie.
Hi. Wise words, babe.
Patience is a virtue we must practice. Absolutely. 100%. I agree. And I'm sorry, my microphone, I think, is broken.
No, is it?
Oh, I don't know. It's just loose. Look at that. Love it when Ida does that for me. You know, I you know, I think part of our transparency, and a lot of people don't understand, you know, how do you talk about when you and your wife fight, and how do you get into so much detail about you and your wife? And, you know, the reality is once again, that goes to who we are and where we are as people, right? Me and Val fight all the time. All the time. But I will tell you this, in 15 years, it's only getting better. And it's gotten better from the day we met. Why? Because we stand strong in who we are. We don't need to hide shit. We're not going to sit here and pretend we're people that we're not. Much like life, much like, you know, living with anxiety and how it was for me, trying to be somebody I'm not. You know, constantly living in a world where you're being somebody because of what is going on in your external environment. And then what happens is, as you slowly start to grow, and I wrote this down, as you grow internally, right? You need to allow your soul to do what it's supposed to do, which is guide us. That's what our soul guides us. That's what our soul does. It guides us, right? And then it has this interaction with the mind, because our mind is made up of our inner environment, our past, of our upbringing, and, you know, everything we've learned from our parents, and our morals and our values, and, you know, that level of vulnerability that exists as a child. And as we grow into our soul, we are just playing catch up all the time. So what worked for us in the past doesn't work for us anymore. And the reason why it's so hard to come out of that is because we have developed those patterns. We felt comfortable within those patterns, within that mindset. So it's a difficult thing to break these patterns. And that's where anxiety, I always say, becomes addictive. You become addicted to anxiety because it's a pattern. You know, I know it's there, and this is where I've been, and this is where I'm going, and I'm okay right now. As long as this I'm in this world, and I'm controlling everything, I'm going to be okay. Because at the end of the day, not one of you can tell me you're not controlling. Not one of you. There's not one person here right now that can tell me, living with anxiety, that you're not controlling. Bullshit. I will call bullshit on you all day long. I don't even care. Don't even entertain the idea to tell me that you're not. Why are you controlling? Because you're trying to control everything around you. Because living with anxiety, if you need to go from A to B, it needs to be that. You cannot go on any detours, or else you're going to lose your fucking mind. Why? The destination is always going to be there. Always. The destination is always going to be there. We need to focus on our journey. That's the reality of life. Our journey is what is important, not our destination. I can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. Never give up on yourself. Absolutely. You guys are amazing. Thank you, Amanda. Anthony, I say it every time, and I constantly will. I love you. And thank you for the app and being able to use the app to help me. You started to change my life with powerful words I haven't heard. Love it, guys. And I love every one of you. You guys are all amazing. I am going to get off because I have a 9 o'clock session booked. But yes, I do love you. No use arguing. I tell him I'm not controlling. Anthony tells me I am. You are. You're full of shit. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna get off because I do have a session booked for 9 o'clock. I'm sorry for the delay and the issue again that we've been having with our microphone. Terribly sorry. I am sure Mr. Eddington will get his butt over here one day and get it fixed, and maybe we can pull him on a live so you all can have the privilege and honor of meeting him. But yes, I will definitely see you guys very soon. Keep up the amazing work, everybody. Love you lots. Have an amazing night, guys. Bye, everybody.
Night.